Hi everyone, Scott Lewis here for Wirefly. Today I'm here to bring you a cell phone Schmackdown between the brand new BlackBerry Z10 and the Samsung Galaxy S3. We're going to break up today's Schmackdown into 3 rounds. The first round is going to be about design, the second is going to be about specs, and the third round is going to be about the camera. So let's go ahead and dig into round 1, the design round. When you look at the design of the BlackBerry Z10, you notice that it has straight lines and angular edges. The Z10 comes with a soft touch black back that makes it nice and easy to hold on to, and it has an overall high-end feel. The Galaxy S3 is a sharp contrast to the BlackBerry Z10. The lines on the Galaxy S3 just seem to flow and are very smooth and rounded on the corners and edges. Surprisingly enough, while both being made out of plastic, both the Z10 and the Galaxy S3 have a very solid and high-end feel. Another major difference between the two phones is the size of the displays. The BlackBerry Z10 has a 4.2-inch LCD display with screen resolution of 768 by 1280, which gives it an overall pixel density of 356 pixels per inch. The Galaxy S3 has a 4.8-inch Super AMOLED display with screen resolution of 720 by 1280, which gives it an overall pixel density of 306 pixels per inch. So all that translated means that the Galaxy S3, while it has a larger display, the BlackBerry Z10 actually has a sharper display. Another difference that you'll see between the two phones is button and port placement. The Z10 has a micro USB charge port on the side, and it kind of gets in the way when you go to charge your phone if you'd like to still use it. A nice benefit for the Z10 is the fact that it has a dedicated micro HDMI output port that doesn't require an adapter to use. The charge port on the Galaxy S3 is on the bottom, where I find it more convenient to use the phone while it's charging, but it doesn't have a separate HDMI output. It uses the same micro USB port with an optional adapter to connect to a TV or monitor. When looking at button placement on the BlackBerry, you have the power and sleep button on the top, the volume rocker switch on the right side, and in the middle of the volume up and down rocker is a voice assist button. You access voice assist with a long press of this button, or you can launch it with the on-phone application. The Galaxy S3 has the power and sleep button on the right and the volume control rocker on the left, and the Google Now voice assist can be accessed through an on-screen application, a widget, or a long press of the home button. Navigating the BlackBerry Z10 will take a little bit of time to get used to, with no dedicated buttons for back or home. While its gesture-based navigation takes longer to get used to, it feels more natural and fluid once you get used to it. One of the new additions to the BlackBerry 10 operating system is the BlackBerry Hub. The BlackBerry Hub is one place to see all your aggregated information from social media, email, and text messages. While this way of digesting information for BlackBerry users is new, it's nothing new for Android users. The Notification Center has been giving you this information for a while, and it's something you've become accustomed to. Multitasking on the BlackBerry Z10 uses multitasking tiles that have their own dedicated screen that you can swipe up and down through to access your most recent applications. The Galaxy S3 also has multitasking, and you can access it with a long press of the home button. One last topic to cover in the design round is going to be the keyboard on the phones. The BlackBerry Z10 features a new flick-style keyboard, which was very easy to use and very easy to type on. Key spacing was great, the response and feedback was great on the keyboard, and it was very easy to type on in landscape or in portrait mode because of the size of the phone. The Samsung Galaxy S3 also has a very good keyboard, and it's very easy to type on as well. It's definitely easier to type in portrait than in landscape because of the size of the 4.8-inch display. While the Galaxy S3 doesn't have a flick-style keyboard, it does have predictive text. Once you get used to using either the flick style or the predictive text on either phone, you can save time sending text messages and emails. So that wraps up round 1, the design round. Overall, I like the build quality of the BlackBerry better. I like the bright, vibrant, larger 4.8-inch display of the Samsung Galaxy S3. I like the button layout of the Galaxy S3. For navigation style, I really like the gesture version of the BlackBerry Z10, but I also like the standard navigation of the Galaxy S3. It's something I've been used to for a long time, so I don't think there's a good or a bad on either one of those. Same with multitasking. I think whether you look at it on a tile or you do a long press of the home button, they both multitask very well, and you can close applications in the multitasking, so that's kind of a draw part. And as far as the typing experience on the phones, I like the BlackBerry Z10 and the flick style keyboard. I really like the spacing on the numbers and the letters better. I like the way that it was laid out, and the flick style was a little bit more intuitive than the predictive text on the Galaxy S3. So our overall winner for round 1 is going to be the Samsung Galaxy S3. With round 1 out of the way, let's go ahead and dig into round 2, the spec round. Now, spec round's going to be pretty short because we covered a lot of things in the first round that could have fallen here in the spec round, but they were definitely about the design of the phone as much as specs. The BlackBerry Z10 is a 1.5 GHz dual-core processor. comes with 2 GB of RAM, and it comes in a 16 GB storage option with expandability through microSD of up to 64 additional gigabytes. Our US version of the Samsung Galaxy S3 has a dual-core 1.5 GHz processor, 2 GB of RAM, and comes in storage options of 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes. Now it also has the same expandability option that the BlackBerry Z10 had of expanding up to 64 gigabytes additional through a microSD card. Just as a quick note, there is a Samsung Galaxy S3 out there that is an international version of the Galaxy S3, and it comes with a quad-core processor and 1 GB of RAM. So there is a difference between the US version and the international version. So that really wraps up round 2. I know, like I said, it was a short round because we talked about a lot of the different specs in the first round. And I think you have to call this round a tie because the specs are almost identical. Just to recap real quick, the Galaxy S3 won round 1 and round 2 is a tie. So let's go ahead and dig into round 3, the camera round, where we'll go over the camera specs and then look at some sample pictures from both phones. So let's go ahead and cover our specs first. The BlackBerry Z10 has a 2 megapixel front-facing camera, while the GS3 has a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera. Both of these cameras would be great for video chatting and Skyping, as well as taking self-portraits. The BlackBerry Z10 has an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera with an LED flash, and will record video in 1080p true high definition. The Galaxy S3 also has an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera with LED flash, and will also record video in 1080p high definition. So just looking at the specs, you can tell that both phones have very similar cameras for both the front-facing and rear-facing camera. Let's check out the performance of both phones with our sample photos. Sample 1 is a picture taken right outside the Wirefly building here. There's a little pond down at the far right hand corner. It was an overcast day, as you can tell by all the cloud cover, but in the photos both phones took very good quality pictures with good definition and good color. And the same thing could be said for sample 2. Sample 2 is also a photo taken right outside our Wirefly building here, just a few minutes after the first photo was taken. Still overcast, but once again both phones perform very well in capturing all the color and the definition. In our last sample, sample 3 is a picture of the Wirefly building off to the left there, with an interesting sculpture right in the middle. Overall, you can't really tell a big difference between either phone, any of the 3 samples, and I was very impressed with the quality of photo that came out considering the overcast sky. So that wraps up our look at the sample photos from both the Galaxy S3 and the BlackBerry Z10. All in all, both phones performed very well in the camera round and took really high quality photos. To decide the winner for round 3, I had to dig in a little bit deeper than just the sample images and the specifications for both phones. I needed to take a little bit deeper look at the way you use both cameras. The Galaxy S3 had a lot more options to choose from when you were selecting different filters and different photo styles, and one nice thing about the Galaxy S3 is you got to choose those things before you took the photo. With the BlackBerry Z10 you had some of the same options, but they were normally after you chose the photo you could add on the different effects. So a benefit for the Galaxy S3 would be the fact that you actually get to preview the filter before you take the picture. So with that being said, our round 3 winner is going to be the Samsung Galaxy S3. And that means that our Samsung Galaxy S3 is the overall Schmackdown winner today. It took round 1 as well as round 3. Round 2 was a draw. And while the Galaxy S3 won our Schmackdown today, I would highly recommend the BlackBerry Z10 for anyone looking for an interesting operating system and a high quality phone. If you're somebody that used to use a BlackBerry and still enjoys a BlackBerry, or you're curious about the new BlackBerry Z10, I would absolutely tell you to give it a try. If you're thinking about getting a new smartphone, make sure to check out Wirefly.com for our fantastic prices. My name's Scott Lewis for Wirefly. Thanks for watching.